On to the latest on the Iran-US conflict. US President Donald Trump said that he does not want a war with Iran. However, he added that in a case where war does break out, it, quote-unquote, wouldn't last very long. Trump even went ahead and said that the US would resort to airstrikes and that no US boots would touch Iranian soil. In an interview to a US media network, Trump was asked if America is going to war with Iran. He said, and I quote, "Well, I hope we don't, but we are in a very strong position if something should happen. We're in a very strong position. It wouldn't last very long, I can tell you that, and I'm not talking boots on the ground," unquote. This comes a day after Trump warned that any further military action by Iran would result in an overwhelming US response and could result in obliteration. Trump later told reporters that Iran's leader would be, quote-unquote, selfish and stupid to reject cutting a new deal with the U.S.
The polls are no good. You know what? Iran can do whatever they want. It's just fine. I have plenty of time. But they have a country that's in economic distress. It's an economic disaster right now. They could solve it quickly or they can solve it in 10 years from now. Whatever they want is fine with me. Whatever they want. I have all the time in the world. I'm sitting here, I have all the time in the world. In the meantime, they have very strong sanctions. They have to live with those sanctions, but Iran should do the right thing for their people. The problem is, I don't believe their leader, I'm not sure that their leaders care for their people. If they do, they'll make a deal. If they don't, they're just thinking about themselves. And they're selfish and they're stupid if that's what they're doing.
Iran, on the other hand, said that it will not solely take the burden of the 2015 nuclear deal. Iran's ambassador to the United Nations said that his country will exceed the limit of low-enriched uranium stockpile. This unless Britain, France and Germany take practical steps to preserve the nuclear deal.
In practical terms, the JCPOA has become an agreement which is being respected only by one party. A multilateral agreement cannot be implemented unilaterally. Iran has done a lot and much more than its fair share to preserve the nuclear deal. Iran alone cannot, shall not, and will not take all of the burdens anymore to preserve the JCPOA.
Remember, under the 2015 agreement, Iran accepted to limit its enrichment of uranium and also submit to United Nations inspections in exchange for the lifting of economic sanctions. The United States pulled out of the accord in May 2018. Since then, Washington has repeatedly imposed sanctions on Iran in what it claims is a way to get Tehran to negotiate a better deal. Recently, Washington even imposed a sanction on Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Khamenei. Iran questioned the impact of the sanction and called Trump mentally retarded. Iran's Revolutionary Guards towed the Iranian president's line and called the sanctions a desperate measure. The head of Iran's Revolutionary Guard Corps, Hossein Salami, said, and I quote, "The recent U.S. sanctions against the Guard's commanders show their desperation and anger in face of Iranian power," unquote.